I had a water leak in my house not too long ago, but it's nothing compared to the leaks happening at the Apple Park. We know almost everything about the September 9 Apple event. The latest phones, the designs, the colors, the storage, the watches, the AirPods, pretty much everything has been leaked. The only thing that is left for Tuesday is actually for Apple to confirm that they are happening is the truth. I'm not really sure what else Apple is going to actually show us that we haven't seen. Time and time again, these things just keep on leaking. Whether that is a Pixel phone, Samsung's, or Apple, they're leaking. You might say these are leaking through these supply chains, but I think it's very tactical. Apple had a year to forget in 2025. So leaking a lot of these things just helps them to sort of sense the customer view on the direction that they're going. So if they tactically just leak a phone, or if they leak the designs and then know how the customers are reacting, it actually benefits them to backtrack and make changes or even double down. You can't just blame the supply chain for all the time. You can have strict practices in place, and if you ever have things leaking, such as a blurry image in a newspaper article or whatnot, you can say that someone very eager to leak something from the supply chain. But the accuracy of these leaks, compared to what's happened last year as well, it sounds like it's almost very tactical. It benefits Apple to actually leak some information through some journalists that they have good relationship, just to understand what the consumers actually think about the direction that they're going, so they can actually double down on it. That's why you can see a lot of the events are periodically done. You have like an event earlier on in the year to release, let's say, the iPhone 16e, and then you have the WWDC, and then you have a massive sort of release happening right now. So let's take a step back and think why all of these leaks are happening, and why this year's release is super crucial for Apple, more so than ever. Typically, everyone laps up the Apple event, right? When Apple sneezes, everyone catches a cold, and everyone pretty much looks forward to the Apple event. And it's my dream one day to actually attend one of these Apple events. But lately, they've been really underwhelming, and that's mainly because there's hardly been any innovation outside of probably the Vision OS. There hasn't been anything that actually said, "Hey, Apple are innovating here," right? Apart from the fact that iPhone 15 had a titanium design, and we all know what happened as soon as the phones released. It had heating issues. It has probably the worst performing iPhone that I ever had. I ended up sort of returning it. The iPhone 15 actually made me switch over to Android. That's a story for another day. But let's have a look at why this event is really crucial for Apple, especially in 2025, after everything that has happened to Apple. So when we look at the year from last September till this September, the launch of the iPhone 16 wasn't that great. I mean, the only thing that came out of that was the camera control button. And pretty much everyone didn't like the camera control button. And most of the guys that if you see on YouTube have actually turned them off, mainly because it's actually shaking the device when users take a photo, or the implementation is bad, it's just getting in the way, and it's creating more buttons. And the rumors were that Apple were going to get rid of buttons a couple of years ago, to Apple actually releasing more buttons. So going from an sort of iPhone 16, and the device, apart from the camera control, the device was actually supposed to be powered by Apple Intelligence, with an asterisk that it is a beta functionality. We never actually saw that thing come out of beta, right? Like, as month progressed, we had tiny bit of updates to Apple Intelligence, and we saw nothing else from it, right? Like, everyone started to grow frustrated, started asking Apple questions on, like, when are these features going to be released? And Apple have quietly removed some advertisings that they've filmed and showcased during the event. And you can see now, like, Apple Intelligence is almost a dead product compared to the competitors that you see from Samsung and from Google. Apple Intelligence is nowhere to be seen. So even from an AI standpoint, where the world is heading, it is very crucial for Apple to actually, hold their hands up. I mean, you can see with the reshuffles, they have probably held their hands up. But what are they going to do in this event to actually show people that, we should trust them and trust them to actually implement an AI that fits the Apple branding? Secondly, what we heard was that the UK government wanting access to, all the data that Apple held. I think it's worldwide, even let alone UK, it was worldwide, and Apple ended up turning off the advanced data protection in UK, right? That is something really concerning. I left actually 2 videos on that, covering why that is actually a very bad move. And, if Apple is going to give way to it, a lot of the other sort of manufacturers will actually give way. And, for a company that talks a game about data protection and the privacy of its users and the privacy of the devices, to fold at the first time of asking was slightly concerning. Then we move on to the sort of the iPhone 16e launch. Like, that really baffled me. iPhone 16e was the device that no one ever asked. In terms of what's in there, it's an yesteryear's chip. It's only got 1 camera. You're probably better off getting the previous year's iPhone Pro or Pro Max. And that would probably still outperform the iPhone 16e. I mean, at that time, I've sort of coined it as E for enterprise. These are just devices that you'd buy for if you have a company and, you're just bulk buying the phones, and it would just make sense because the only purpose for it to actually take emails and, receive emails and, take phone calls. Other than that, the iPhone 16e was underwhelming. That's actually 3 things that have happened in the year that, that what I would call as a back-to-back negative PR for Apple. And you had this window where Samsung and Google have, forged the partnerships together to take their competition to the next level. The S25 Ultra, despite some of the flaws that the device had, showcased an outstanding AI. Right? The AI could beat Apple punch to punch. I mean, it's probably an unfair fight at this point. I mean, you could tie the Samsung AI blindfolded and it will still, beat Apple's AI around the park. And, it just meant so many people that I knew were just moving away from Apple because things just started to get boring. People just, lost confidence. And Apple feels like a company that's, evidently just surviving off the services rather than the hardware. Yes, there's hardly any innovation, but if you look at Samsung, they've actually innovated. Like the Fold 7 phone here, right? This has the biggest groundbreaking innovation year on year. I do not expect Fold 7 to be that much better than the Fold 6. There is room for improvement. And Apple are working on a slimmer device, and we'll come on to that. Right? So Samsung actually then, that meant was Apple are having bad news, Samsung's delivering good news. Partnership with Google and the AI, clearly one of the better AIs I've seen on the phone, and a Fold 7 device that, gone through massive changes. It's probably the only device that's gone through a big change in this entire decade. Then you have Google, right? Whole thing about the AI, right? They live and breathe. They own the entire internet's sort of search ecosystem. Gemini is really powerful and you can't live without that. And the Pixel devices have improved year on year, and they've just launched the Pixel 10. Luckily for Apple, they've also haven't innovated much from the sort of the Pixel 9 device. So the Pixel 10, it's kind of overwhelming. But the point I'm trying to make here is the fact that Apple have lost its way in this year. This 2024 end till 2025 has been probably one of the worst year that Apple had to face. It's a testament to how far other companies really want to beat them, but also shows that, they've been sitting on their laurels. They've actually taken it easy. It almost feels like that, rabbit and turtle race, where the rabbit has gone really far ahead and just, decided to sleep and let the turtle actually, overtake and win the race. Are they going to win the race? It will all be down to whatever happens on Tuesday. So let's actually quickly look at what's actually happening on Tuesday. So we know there's going to be new phones, right? Looking at the release, there's going to be 4 different models. You're going to have the base iPhone 17, you're going to get the Pro, and you're going to get the Pro Max. And then on the 4th one is the iPhone Air, right? To me, that looks like the iPhone Air is going to compete with the Samsung S25 Edge. No one's really asking for these sort of small edge devices. The standard bar phones needs massive improvements with battery, so I'm really worried about how bad the battery is going to be. And it's almost like, these little devices are going to be sort of, flexing muscle game where, yeah, if you can do it, I can do it. But either way, we're going to get four devices, and the colors are going to be pretty much same. You just have to sort of Google iPhone 17 colors, and you will know what colors they're going to be. I really hope Apple, comes through with the Pro models where, the colors are actually better than the standard black, white, and gold. There are rumors there's going to be orange and sort of liquid glass color. I mean, that orange has been rumored every single year, and that's probably the only thing where the rumors and leaks haven't been right previous years, where we're going to get an orange color. So let's see if Apple are running out of the ink and they're actually going to give you the orange color. The liquid glass, I don't really see it as a sort of a device color, but obviously the iOS 26, the liquid glass UI looks fun, but if you're old enough like me, you'd probably say that sounds like the Windows XP where everything looked like the glass. Apple are trying to do something different. Apple are trying to give you customization. Despite the hardware, the software game on the Apple seems to have changed, and they are coming around the way to give us a bit more customization and making us feel like every phone is unique and we'll be able to sort of customize how we want. Is actually a blessing to see. The biggest change that I'm really looking forward to is actually going back to going back to the aluminium designs. The titanium design, while it looked good and made the phone sturdy, it was pretty awful in terms of letting rid of heat, and the battery was really bad. And iPhone, like I said earlier in the video, the iPhone 15 was one of the worst performing iPhone that I've had, and I ended up sort of changing, and the opinions are same when I speak to different people that iPhone 15 and iPhone 16 aren't really well known for the batteries. iPhone 13 Pro is a really good device that is well known for the battery. Then you're going to have your standard, the Apple Watch updates probably, and then also the iPad Pro. I mean, renders of that looks like pretty much the same. I mean, you're still going to get a case that looks like this. You're pretty much going to get a buds that look like this. But what more can you do? Sometimes a design is timeless, and don't change it, like don't reinvent the wheel. But there is a lot to unpick on Tuesday. I'll give you my feedback maybe late Tuesday or Wednesday night in a video like this. But it's really important. I think it's a make or break for Apple this year, because the competitions have caught up. It's really heating up in terms of the software game move by Samsung and Google, and even some of the Chinese manufacturers are just coming through, and more and more of these devices are being put in front of people, and they can only eat into the market share that Apple has, and it's not going the other way around. So that's really going to be the crux of the whole event. I think Apple are just going to give us new devices, but at the same time they need to sort of capture the audience in terms of how they're going to win back all of those users like me who they've lost since the iPhone 15 releases. So on Tuesday, I hope we see Apple, the hardware company, not the software giants. If you like videos like this, do like and sub to the channel, and I'll see you very soon. Take care.